everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. Always last minute tech issues, but hopefully we're good to go now. Let me know if y'all can hear me and see me okay. I appreciate everybody saying hey, letting us know where you're coming from, how the weather is there. Hi. I am in Houston, Texas. We had about 1 week of fall, and by that I mean it was below 80 degrees for a few days, and now we're back to it being just about 80 degrees again. So, yep, 80 degrees right now. Thank you. Okay, so today's workshop is really just something that I decided to do spontaneously last week. This is something that we kind of did in the goal getting group last year, but I just formalized it a little bit. And there is a worksheet that goes with it. And by worksheet, I mean a spreadsheet. Don't let it scare you. So make sure that you have the spreadsheet downloaded, maybe even pulled up on your computer while you're listening to me chat. If not, you can work on it later. But it's all about setting a sales goal / forecasting for the upcoming holiday sales season. So if you're kind of wondering what to start getting ready right now, I know that's why I call it a worksheet, Jen, not a spreadsheet, because I don't want that to scare you. So if you're wondering how much to start stocking up on, or what to kind of even guesstimate, that's what we're hopefully going to figure out here today. And it's all part of the Cyber Week Crash Course email series that I've been doing every year. The button to sign up for that is below. That is just a totally free 6-week email series. You're going to get an email every Thursday with like one big task to help you prepare for Cyber Week sales. For those of you, let's see, Pat and Lisa, you should have gotten at least 2 emails from me, one the day that you signed up and one literally 20 minutes ago with a link to the spreadsheet. So get in your inbox, search for hello@paperandspark.com. That's the email that it came from. There's a link to the spreadsheet in there. Sometimes it might have gone to like your spam folder, your updates tab, your promos tab, whatever. Just stick around for that. Search for my email. And if you don't find it, then let me know at the end of the presentation. I'll go into my system and like make sure it gets specifically to you. But unfortunately, can't do that right now. So let's chat about that. Let me see. Let me share my screen. Get everything situated. Back to Chrome. All right. Oh. I'm going to move this over here. Y'all don't mind me. I'm just getting ready to share my screen so that you don't see all the craziness, but just what you need to see. Here we go. All right. And now it's going to make my face really, really small. Ooh, let's do, nope, sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, let's make that big for now. Okay. All right, so a few things that I want to prerequisite this conversation with. First, we are estimating, right? We're forecasting and setting some goals, but it is based on past results and your intuition. Partly past results, partly your intuition. So this is not going to be an exact science. I don't want you to think these numbers are like set in stone. Obviously, give yourself some wiggle room. This is just so that you can go into Cyber Week feeling prepared, feeling a little more clear, feeling a little more confident with this information in your toolkit, under your tool belt, so to speak. And then the other thing that I want to say is the work that we're going to do is mostly based on past results. So the more past results your shop has right now, the more accurate or more predictable these results will be. Okay, the numbers that we set today. If this is your first holiday sales season with your shop, and you don't have last year's holiday season to look at, that's okay. If you still have sales this year for us to look at, that's good. We can still work with just that. If you just opened up shop like October 1st and you have like no sales yet and no past data to look at, there's not too much we're going to be able to do. Y'all are frozen. Let's see. Let me see. Everything is looking okay for me over here. Okay, so frozen for some of y'all, not okay. All right, sorry. Let me say too, and I'm gonna type it because I might be frozen for some. If you have issues, it works best in Chrome browser. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep trucking. So that's just the caveats that I want to state. The more past data that you have, the better. So on that note, hopefully maybe some of you have filled in part of this spreadsheet before we came to the workshop today. But if not, that's what I want you to start doing as best as you can while I'm chatting with you right now. Get in your these two boxes. Okay, the first is your holiday sales period last year, Q4. So that's October, November, December. Any sort of data you have from last year that you can fill in here, go ahead and do that. And then if you also have year-to-date sales, you could do Q1 through Q3 if that's easier, but it's probably quicker for you to just like pull up your, Etsy dashboard or Shopify dashboard or whatever and fill in your sales so far this year, even though that includes most of October at this point. We just want to fill out these two boxes to the best of our capabilities right now. Sip of water. And this is just establishing our pattern, establishing our trend, okay? How did things sell last holiday season? What was popular? What was the most popular? What was least popular? And what has been selling well or not selling well so far this year? And with those two things under our belt, we can make more educated decisions for setting the goal and forecasting going forward. And how are you going to fill this out is going to depend on your business model, your type of shop, like what you sell. So some of us are selling literally one-of-a-kind products, right? Everything we create is new and different and a new listing in Etsy or in our shop. That's a little more difficult to forecast for because you don't have those like listings that you're renewing each time that help you see the popularity of something, how many times something's selling easily. So if that's you, then you want to try and break your product sales up into categories. Excuse me, guys. And what I mean by that is how can you group those one-of-a-kind products into bigger categories so you're not literally just listing like one-off. So if you sold one-of-a-kind jewelry, but you're able to lump it into like earrings or rings or bracelets, or maybe if you sell all one-of-a-kind tumblers, but you have different, lines of tumblers, like my 16-ounce ones or my sparkly glittery ones versus my personalized football related tumblers, those kinds of things. I'm always really bad with coming up with examples on the fly, but break them up how you can if you don't have any obvious product categories for your past sales. And let's see. One thing that I can show you real quick, if you're going to do this later, watching the replay, or if you're doing it now and you're really good at multitasking, I'm pulling up my Etsy shop on another screen and I will share it with you guys in a second. If you go to, no, that's not what I want. I'm looking, if you pull up your Etsy shop manager, if you sell on Etsy, this is a great way to get this data quickly and easily. That's the other thing that I want to say about filling this spreadsheet out. Hopefully you have some of these numbers tracked somewhere. Like if you're using the goal getting spreadsheet from Paper and Spark, like you may know this data offhand. But I don't want you to stress about getting like super accurate down to the penny information right now. If you need to like round off and make like some educated guesstimates for your sales by product type, that is fine. This is a super easy way to pull this information in Etsy. I went to my stats. I changed the timeline to this year. Okay, I'm just looking at year to date. And now I can see, okay, I sold this product. This must be my number one selling one. Actually, it's sorted by views. So you can sort it by orders. And I sold this product 136 times. I sold this one 59 times, et cetera, et cetera. So that gives me my orders per listing. It's not always going to be that easy if you're not renewing the listing and reselling it each time. But if that happens to apply to you, that's a quick, easy way you can get that information in Etsy. So that's how I would fill this box out now. All right. Y'all are being quiet. Is all of this making sense? Have you already done this and you're like, Janet, move on? Or are you stuck on being able to do this? I'm going to copy my example data over here so that we have some numbers to start crunching. Okay, doing it now. All right, great. So once you get some info in these columns, these purple percentages are going to start populating for you. You don't need to calculate the percentages. It will populate for you. Sheila pulled it off my butt. Okay, great. Great. So now I can kind of see, based on this example data, how things sold last year and during the holidays and how things have sold so far this year. So I'm getting some trends and stuff on my radar. And then also what I want you to fill in these two purple boxes are your total sales in dollars for those two time periods as well. So I'm going to type that in real quick. 74, 76. And what that's going to allow the spreadsheet to calculate for you is your average order value. All right. And I've talked about this before, but if you're unfamiliar, your average order value is how much the average customer spends when they're checking out in your shop, right? So it's like your average sales point. And that's going to help us be able to set a goal for this sales period. So once you get these two boxes filled out, you're going to have these super helpful percentages that we're going to look at. You're going to have your average order value, which is also going to be helpful. And then the last thing that you need to fill out just so that we can look at sales growth, is going to be down here. So why do I ask about that? Okay, we know how we did last Q4. We know how we've done so far this year. Looking at this, can I just say, this is how much money I think I'm going to make in Q4 this year? Now you may say, I think I'm going to make about the same. Let me set a goal for $4,100 again. But hopefully, ideally, you've grown a bit this year. Our goal is always, hopefully, that we're slowly at least growing from year to year. So that's why I say, let's have you grown from last year. Let's see if you've grown some from last year. And you can figure that out by inputting. So this is Q4 2018. We can input how much have we made, how much did we make Q1 through Q3 2018. So that's before this. How much did we make last year? Basically, so we can compare that to this total sales so far this year. Compare Q1, Q3 2018 to Q1, Q3 2019. So in my example, that's what I'm saying. Let's see. Still, I'm frozen. Have to do a lot of refreshing. I'm sorry, guys. Let me see if I don't know how to, I don't think. Okay. All right. Sorry. Let me see. Let me quit Photoshop. Let me quit everything and see if that makes it any better. I'm even on broadband today. I'm going to turn my Wi-Fi on my phone off just in case that helps. Okay, what was I talking about when everybody lost me? Somebody let me know. Okay, yeah. Maybe I was talking about growth. We want to see what our growth rate this year compared to last year has been, because that will help us set a more accurate prediction for what the upcoming holiday sales is going to be. Okay. So all that I did, maybe why I was frozen, was fill out this cell here. Okay. So you've just entered your sales for Q1 through Q3 2019 in this cell. Figure out what your sales for Q1 through Q3 last year were, and then we'll be able to see what the growth rate is. So this little box down here is just saying, okay, last year, at this same point in time last year, I had made 5.5K in sales. And this year, so far, I've made 7.4K. So I'm doing 35% better. The spreadsheet will calculate this for you. I'm doing 35% better with sales so far in 2019. So if that 35% increase trend continued for Q4, then I would do, 35% more of what I did last year, which would be $5,500. So $5,500 would be a pretty reasonable sales goal to set for Q4 2019. But before you type in whatever number this spits out, do your logic test. Does this seem reasonable when you're looking at it offhand? Maybe you haven't grown since last year. Maybe you have a decrease and a negative number instead of growth. Maybe you, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Maybe like something went really well last holiday period that you don't think is going to happen again in 2019. So you want to set a more conservative goal, or maybe the opposite's happening. Maybe like you're doing 5 extra craft shows this holiday season, and so you want to project even bigger than what this number is predicting. So do kind of like a gut check when you're setting your goal here. And obviously for my example, I think that I have the potential to do even better than 35% growth. So I'm setting a goal for 6,100 for sales. Are y'all still with me? I'm going to look at my notes while I'm waiting to hear from y'all. Okay. Thank you, Cami. All right. So you've set your holiday sales goal. Great. Thanks. The comments are always like delayed from when I'm talking. So, all right. So if you're relatively new and you don't have much data to base these numbers on, you just have to do the best you can. You just have to do a gut check. And based on, how much traffic you're getting or not getting at this point in time, and what you're going to put in for this period, like how much marketing are you going to do? Have you built any sort of audience yet, on social media or Instagram, or are you 100% relying on Etsy traffic? Unfortunately, there's not much that you can do number crunching wise to predict. You just have to go with the gut feeling. Are the predicted 2019 holiday sales for Q4? Yes, it really depends how you want to look at it, because honestly, obviously, it's October 21st. So 1 month of Q4 is almost totally gone. So I'm just calling this my holiday orders. You are basing it off of what you input as last year's Q4. So we're not really totally comparing apples to apples here, as we should be. It's kind of rougher than that. So, if you want to get really literal and more detailed with it, you could change this, your past numbers that you're crunching. You could change this to like November 1st through December 31st last year, and then make this goal before November 1st through December 31st this in 2019. I kind of just left it like this because for most of us selling right now, like, you probably made the majority of these Q4 sales last year in November, December. So it's kind of a wash. It doesn't really matter. But if you want to get real like detailed with the timing of it and definitely compare apples to apples, then you would want to change the time periods between this and this to match better. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, yeah. All right, so hopefully you've gotten to a point where you can type in the sales goal. And this is the cell here that you can edit and play with a little bit. So like if we break these numbers down further and things start to look a little unrealistic to you, you can always go back to this cell and change it, and to change the other numbers a little bit. So once you input that sales goal, the spreadsheet's built-in formulas are going to automatically calculate your orders goal based on your, let's see. Or no, did it go the other way? Okay. All right. So it's automatically calculating your orders goal based on your most recent average order value. Okay, so all it did right here, if you took a calculator, it did $6,100 of sales divided by an average order value of $28.21 means I would have to sell 216 items. Okay, that's how it calculated that. So right off the bat, at this point, you can do another gut check and be like, first, is my average order value going to stay around $28.21? Maybe I'm about to raise my prices for the holidays, or maybe I recently instituted free shipping and I raised all my prices to incorporate that cost. So maybe I know that my average order value is going to be slightly different than what it has been historically this year. So you can tweak this number. Let's say I think it's going to increase because I just did free shipping and changed all my prices or whatever. So I might increase that. And if I do, I need to change my orders goal. Okay, now I'm forcing myself to do some math, and I'll show you how to do it with a quick formula. None of these formulas are locked. If you'd rather just get out your calculator, if you are scared of Excel formulas or spreadsheet formulas, I'm not going to judge you. It's totally fine. So if you'd rather get out your calculator and manually figure it out, you can do that. So now I just need to sell 203.333, so 204 items. Or you can do your simple formula by typing equals and then the number of sales goal divided by your average order. Simple formula, and it will crunch it for you. So now I can continue to play with this if I want. I can change things around and it's going to update the numbers for me. But that is how we can work backwards into your orders goal. Okay. And so far, to me, with my example, everything is feeling very realistic. Okay. I sold 158 products last year. So I feel like I can do a little better than that this year. My shop has grown from 2018. So I feel like, 40 additional orders is doable for me. So I'm going to keep my 203 orders goal here. And yeah, so now comes the point where we can go further than this and break it down by product type or product category. So that's fun too. And something else to think of when you're crunching this number and you see, 203 orders. Can I do that? Like, your holiday schedule best. Everyone keep in mind, Thanksgiving is super late this year, and it's like 3 days between Thanksgiving and December 1st. So the typical like holiday order window seems to be like a week shorter than it usually is this year. So I know, I'm going to be out of town for a week, or, I'm doing this or that. Can I realistically fill 203 orders within the next 2 months? Either I feel like I can or I can't. Whatever your number is there, keep doing those gut checks. Is this doable? Is this realistic? Do I need to adjust this? I just don't want you to, like pull a number out of the sky and be like, okay, this is what's going to happen. Adjust and tweak as necessary, because now we're going to break this 203 down to categories, products. And this is what's going to help you say, all right, this is what I'm going to start making. This is what I need to order supplies for ASAP, that kind of thing. So all I did was copy over my categories that I've been selling so far this year, and I pasted them there. And you can make adjustments to this as necessary. They don't necessarily need to be in like order of best-selling product or anything like that. They can be in any order. And let's say, like you're going to release, you have a new product line, like a special holiday line that's not even reflected here. Like you can add that in if you need to. I'm gonna just make a generically titled product category called holiday gift set. And why won't you be bold like everybody else? Oh, I guess I do have it locked and it doesn't want to change the formatting. Okay, so this is where I want you to fill out the percentages to help you predict the specific numbers. So this time we're going to type in the purple and it should let me. Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. So this is when you're going to look at your last year trends and your year-to-date trends. So I've got my owl stud earrings, and historically, last holiday season, they were about 25% of my sales. And so far this year, they've been about 17% of my sales. So you know your products best. You know the trends intuitively. I want you to think with each percentage here, what seems to fall in line for your holiday sales. You're going to have some products, obviously, that they don't sell big. Maybe they don't sell big throughout the year, but they do really well at holiday time because they're more prone for, holiday gifting. And then you probably have some products that are the opposite. They sell seasonally really well, over the summer, but nobody is buying them at Christmas time or whatnot. So use your best judgment and look at the historical data for setting these estimated percentages of sales going forward. And it really is like once you plug in the percentage, you want to look at that number sold. That's the important thing. And we've got to look at it holistically too. So you just go through each of these and kind of use your best judgment based on historical results. And it's probably not even going to add up to 100 the first time you do it, which is totally fine. Like my owl gift sets did a lot better. Nobody's buying them this year, but they did really well at holiday time. So, and I'm just kind of guesstimating. This is a totally new product, so that's going to really affect my percentages because now I'm over 100%, obviously. And I'm not going to add up to 203. These added together are 228 products. So this is where I am going to start looking at the number of items sold and my percentages and make some tweaks. And it really is just going to be like a judgment call here. Like this number seems a little high, so I'm going to adjust that. It's not an exact science. And remember, you can always tweak these two numbers, your orders goal and your sales goal as well. You just want everything to eventually get back to a place where it equals 100%, but also seems reasonable based on what you expect to happen. So these percentages fall in line with my historical data. And based on those percentages being applied to my holiday orders, I am able to then, again, if you want to do this on a calculator, let me see. If you're doing it on a calculator because you hate spreadsheets, you can always take the percentage, like 22%, and apply it to your total orders. If 22% of my 203 orders are owl stud earrings, I can expect to sell about 45 pairs of owl stud earrings. And that falls in line with what I've sold so far this year and it's pretty close to how many I sold last year for Christmas. So if my owl stud earrings have remained steadily popular this year, and people are still gifting those for Christmas, then I think 45 is a pretty good educated guess as to how many I will sell for 2019 holidays. And all of this are, like I said, educated estimates. We're forecasting. It's not supposed to be, 100% guaranteed or accurate. And obviously, this can also affect your total sales that you will make because everything is based on average order value, right? So the price points of each of these individual items is going to vary greatly. We're just looking at your total average order value overall from your entire shop. Is the holiday sales goal based on full prices or does it already include discounts? It's really, since it's only based on your average order value, it's going to depend on just this number here. So you want to consider those discounts and whatnot when you're setting what your average order value estimate is going to be for the holiday sales period. So I said I thought mine was going to increase because I've raised prices to account for free shipping. I've increased my price. I've added that cost to my sales price since, August or whatever. So I think my average order value is probably going to go up. But let's say, you're going to make a ton of sales over Cyber Week when you're offering, a 25% off discount. You might want to say, I think my average order value is going to go down. Or maybe you're not worried about it because everyone's going to take advantage of that 25% off discount, but they're all going to order more stuff because they can take advantage of a discount. So maybe your average order value will go up. You have to use your best judgment, but don't stress about it too hard. So yeah, keep that in mind. Keep your holiday plan in mind when you're putting your average order value in here. And if you don't have your holiday plan in mind, that is what we covered in email 1 of the Cyber Week series. So make sure you either go back and find that email to help walk you through planning your promo, or if you haven't signed up for it yet, you can click on the green button at the bottom of the presentation screen to sign up for it, and you'll get access to email 1, even though it was already sent. Yeah, Catherine, if you don't have the spreadsheet, just let me know when we're done, and I'll make sure that it finds its way to you. With email these days, who the heck knows? I have sent it twice, but it's very possible that it got lost along the way. All right. So now that you are able to work backwards, break it down by product type or product category, this is the point where, keep doing that gut check, keep being do these numbers seem realistic? And this is when you want to take these numbers and go look at what you have. If I saw this, I would be like, how many pairs of owl stud earrings do I actually have made right now? Do I have supplies to make this many? If I don't have 45 made right now, what do I need to order to be able to fill this need? Or am I able to get my hands on this stuff fast enough, et cetera? That's when you want to start asking those kinds of questions. Obviously at October 21st, we're already getting to the point where it's almost too late to order supplies and stuff, depending on when your supplies are coming, where your supplies are coming from. But that's what I want you to take these numbers and do, is just the next step is, what do I need to get prepared in my inventory? What do I need to do going forward to meet this projected forecasted demand? And this would also be a really good exercise to do for craft shows. If you're doing a lot of in-person craft shows, especially, and maybe this is something you can start to do going forward, track your sales, keep tabs on what type of products are selling at each individual show you do. And then next year, if you decide to repeat that show, you can look exactly at what's sold and work through this kind of exercise to predict what you want to bring for next year's show if you decide to do it again. Maybe not something you necessarily have on hand to be able to crunch those numbers with this year, but now that you know how this all works, you can maybe do it going forward. Yes, Jen, this spreadsheet does not include it with the Etsy seller spreadsheet. It was just for this webinar. And ideally, you should have gotten the link to download the spreadsheet in the email the day that you registered for the workshop. And then I also sent out an email 20 minutes before the workshop started with a link to the spreadsheet again. So ideally, you should have 2 emails in your inbox with download links to the spreadsheet. If you did not, just send me an email or a Facebook message or something afterwards, and I will make sure that you get it. And hopefully you are able to work through it. And if you're working through this later, this spreadsheet has 2 tabs, right? The whole example that I walked through right here is on tab 2. So you can kind of like look at these numbers to help yourself recall what we did here live when you're filling out the blank product mix tab. All right. So that is what I got. Y'all let me know what questions you have as you walk through this. Mary, there will be a replay as soon as this is over. Crowdcast like downloads it and spits it back out, and you'll be able to start it from the beginning. Let's see. I changed my product offering mid Q2 2019, so I have no numbers for 2018 Q4 that relate to my current product offering. Is there anything I can do to predict? Sales have been up month. Okay, Carrie, that's a great question. In your case, what I would do here without any Q4 sales of that product from last year, I just leave this guy blank. I would just fill out your year-to-date sales so far of what you have for that product and go from there. You won't have last year data to get your growth rate, but you can still, something that you could do, you could look at your month-to-month growth rate because like you're saying, sales have been up month over month since you transitioned to your new product. You can look at your month-to-month growth rate so far and use that to predict your growth rate for the holidays, knowing that oftentimes your growth rate for the holiday season is going to be like exponentially bigger than the non-holiday part of the year. Like that's why I'm predicting that I'm almost going to make like the exact same amount of money I made all year in just holiday sales, because usually we do so much better in just the last 2 months of the year. But yeah, you can fill out this with your stuff so far and just use your month-to-month growth rate. And if you ever have trouble calculating a growth rate, you can calculate a growth rate for any time period you want to set this goal. I just did last year to this year, but if you'd rather do like 1 month to another month or Q2 2018 to Q3 2018, I should have said 2019, not 2018, but you can do it like that. To calculate any growth rate, you just take the newest time period of sales minus the older time period of sales divided by the older time period of sales. That's how you calculate a growth rate. So that will give you a percentage. So you can see the trend of how sales are going. All right. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for the kind words. Okay. Good. Y'all, I'd love to hear if you find this helpful. Like, this is something that I think is really cool. Like, I love to look at my data this way, but I'm an accountant and I'm a data person. So I'm always kind of like, is this obvious to other people? Is this like, I don't want to like baby you guys I don't want you to be like, oh, this is dumb. Like I could have figured this out on my own. Or is it like, oh, wow, I never would have even thought to look at things this way. I don't know. I don't know how you guys perceive it. So I'd love to hear if you find it enlightening or kind of obvious. Mary, yes, there will be a replay. As soon as it's over, Crowdcast will take like 5 minutes to, I don't even know what the word is, consolidate it, and then the replay will be ready. Just looking at my average order value is helpful. Great, Pauline. I'm glad to hear that. And you might have already seen this, Pauline. But I think looking at average order value is a super helpful stat because to me, I feel like we get caught up a lot in like, I need more sales. I need more sales. I need more traffic. I need more people to come into my shop to buy things, more people, more eyeballs. Like we're always stressed about more people, more eyeballs, more traffic. But average order value to me is really a less stressful way of trying to boost my profits because you hopefully already have people coming in your shop. Okay. You already have some people coming in and checking out and buying things. And average order value, focusing on that is asking yourself, how can I encourage my existing customers, the traffic I'm already getting, to just spend more money in my shop? Instead of being like, I need 1 million more people to come in and buy things, how can I get the people who are already buying things to just spend more money? So increasing your average order value is a way of doing that and focusing on ways to do that. And if you opt in for the Cyber Week series by pressing the button, if you haven't already, you'll get a special offer on like a little booklet on ways to increase your average order value because I think it's such an interesting metric to work on instead of just being obsessed with trying to get more bodies in your shop, right? Okay. Okay, great. I'm glad that y'all found this helpful. Yes. Great. Okay. If there's anything that we did today that is not clear to you, please ask. Please let me know. I don't see any more questions. Yes. Good points. Good, Lisa. I'm glad that you thought it was helpful. I may have missed this because I just joined, but Mother's Day and Christmas are my 2 busiest times of year, and I've experienced huge increases year over year from one holiday to next. If I had, say, a 20% increase in sales between Christmas last year and Mother's Day, should I anticipate around 20? I would say anticipate at least a 20%. At least a 20%. That's the type of thing for me, Mary, that I would crunch several numbers to compare and get a good percentage growth rate guesstimate to use. Like, what was your if Mother's Day 2019 grew 20% from Christmas 2018, what did Mother's Day 2019 to Mother's Day 2018 increase? What was the growth rate there? That would be another number that I would use to predict Christmas to Christmas year over year. It says my growth rate is 2,218%. Jackie, I just entered my numbers. Well, when you know better than me, Jackie, when you're looking, like, is that because you had like one sale last Christmas and or one sale, or like maybe you were a brand new shop in Q1 through Q3 2018 and now you've had an established shop sales so far this year? Or was it like a relatively normal year last year and you've just grown a whole lot this year? You know your circumstances better than me as to whether a 2,000% growth rate is something that's going to be sustainable and realistic for you. All right. Any other questions you got for me? I'd love to hear, once y'all are done crunching these numbers, I'd love to hear if you feel like sharing what your holiday sales goal is going to be. Does this give you some good holiday sales goals to work for? I opened May 2018 and orders really rolled in Black Friday. So, yeah, okay. So if you were relatively new in 2018 and have done pretty well since then, your growth rate may be a little more inflated than usual because like you're comparing, some months last year where you weren't even open to the whole year for 2019. So you may not use the 2,000% and not dumb it down, decrease it a little bit. Okay, Sydney, any advice on generic sales I can do that won't break the bank? Sydney, are you signed up for the Cyber Week series? Make sure you either sign up if you're not, or go check out email number 1 if you are signed up. In email number 1, it was all about picking your promotional offers for Cyber Week, and I shared lots of ideas in there, including some ideas that aren't just like offer a discount or offer free shipping, because sometimes those do break the bank, like you say. Sometimes it's not worth eating into your bottom line to offer a discount this time of year. There's other types of promotions that you can do that won't necessarily like cause you to have a loss, right? Carolyn, looking at my numbers, this is encouraging action. Yes, you could do this. You could do this, Carolyn. My stretch goal is 60K. I love it, Mary. I know Black Friday is so late this year. It is going to be interesting. My products are mostly made to order, though I'm prepping. Yeah, prep. Hopefully this helps you know where to prep and use that time more wisely. More important than ever with Cyber Week being so much later this year. 98 orders sounds good to me, Sheila. Jackie, I don't think I could handle 2,000. Yeah. Maybe maybe this is telling you it's time for you to hire help. Get an assistant to help you prepare or fill orders during this time period. Hire some Christmas elves, right? Okay, great. Yeah, Sydney, if you have issues finding the email, any trouble finding the email, let me know. Items, not orders. Okay, still good. All right, guys. Well, I hope y'all found this helpful. If you have any issues finding the spreadsheet after we're done here, you are welcome to email me. I'm going to type my email address here in case you have trouble. A couple of housekeeping things before we go. If you are not already in the Goal Getting Makers Facebook group, that is where we share our goals and work on setting them and do more exercises like this. I have a thread right now about sharing your holiday offer, your holiday plan, that I'd love to get your feedback on. So you can join us there. I just shared the link. And then One other thing, I have my annual, semi-annual, really, survey right now that I would love your feedback on. One respondent, one random person that submits feedback is going to get a $50 Amazon gift card. So go take 5 minutes to fill that out if you don't mind. Good. I'm excited because my numbers are a concrete goal to work towards and it's doable for me. That's great. That's great. I think that that's one of the hardest parts about working this time of year, setting goals and stuff is like we often have these goals that are, I want to like have a record breaking holiday season. I want to like make a bunch of sales and like do really well, do the best I've ever done this year. But having a specific number and even having it broken down into like product types or categories, I find is so helpful. And you can measure your progress against this, too. It just helps give you direction and a little more consistency and motivation, I think. I like having something concrete as a destination to work towards. Donna, I don't know how I could handle one more sale this holiday season. Oh, that's a good problem to have, right? All right, guys. Thank you all for your attention. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Join us in the Goal Getting Goal Getting Makers Facebook group. We're working on the guidebook. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, ladies.